Good morning. Only 2 more days of the Asian Games that brought together the people through the games. Get a look at some of the highlights with SJ Lee. The Busan International Film Festival rolls out the red carpet for the biggest in the film industry as the city welcomes 10 days of movies galore. The dishes from the movies. It's only natural for your appetite to get going when you see food in a movie, so try the exact dish from your favorites. The human voice is an instrument that can't be topped. All it takes is 5 to do it all. Award-winning a cappella group Be Vocal joins us in the studio this morning on Korea Today, Friday, October 3rd, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Welcome to Korea Today. I'm Oh Jin-ju with Kim Min-jung and Kim Young. Today is Korea's National Foundation Day, which is a national holiday.
That's right. It's called Gaecheonjeol. It literally means when the skies opened up. It celebrates the creation of the state Gojoseon, founded by Dangun in the year 2333 BC.
That's right, and it's all thanks to Dangun that we're celebrating what we're celebrating today. The 17th Incheon Asian Games will be celebrating the grand finale tomorrow. It had brought together 4.5 billion people on this continent for a sports bonanza.
Right, but the A시아를 has been more than just a sports event. It has also been a venue for various cultural events alongside the games, so that's where we'll start today.
The Incheon Asian Games kicked off on September 19th, bringing together some 13,000 athletes from 45 countries to compete in many different fields of sports. What makes these games even more special is that a variety of other cultural festivals took place on the sidelines, grabbing the attention of many visitors. One event that drew many eyes was the Asia Hallyu Hanbok Show, which began on September 27th. This festival was held to promote the globalization of Hanbok, as well as aid in the successful hosting of the Asia Games. Prior to the main event, an exhibit showcasing royal garments, hosted by the Korea Royal Costume Institute, takes place. It's an exhibition full of stunning and elegant royal clothing that kings and queens wore thousands of years ago.
It's a good opportunity to be here and seeing all the various cultural things of this country, and I'm thoroughly enjoying my stay here.
The hanboks are very beautiful and colorful. The old hanboks have those handmade embroidered patterns on them, which I think are amazing.
Following this, the rehearsal for the Hanbok Gala show begins. To celebrate the spirit of the Incheon Games, 35 residents of the city participated as models for the show.
This was an opportunity to share with others the beauty of hanbok, so I chose to take part in this event to introduce the hanbok culture and to experience a fashion show.
Very interested in knowing about these Korean traditional dresses, so we came down here to see the fashion show so that we could learn more about it.
And a number of performances also unfold for spectators to enjoy at the venue. The Hanbok Gala Show, the grand finale of the event, in its first act put on display royal garments that kings and queens from the Joseon dynasty used to wear, such as former ceremonial dresses. And a variety of modernized hanboks using patterns and designs of the Korean flag and the Korean alphabet are put in the spotlight during the second act. There are also costumes created using different Asian cultural elements with the Incheon Asian Games logo on them. The event has given many the opportunity to get a closer look at Korea's traditional hanbok while enjoying themselves at the Games.
Through this hanbok event, I hope that more people will become better acquainted with Korean traditions and grow to love them.
The Incheon Asian Games have been much more than a simple sporting event. It has provided an arena for cultural exchange and offered visitors a closer look at Korea's traditions and culture.
Tomorrow, the closing ceremony will wrap up the Incheon Asian Games. The 16-day event was filled with many exciting highlights and interesting stories.
That's right. Records were broken and some new ones set, and tears were shed both of joy and sadness. We'll get an in-depth look at some of those highlights with our SJ Lee, who joins us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Just like you guys said, I mean, believe it or not, tomorrow night will be the closing ceremony where it closes off the 16 days of competition. But, you know, for me and also the fans out there, it really was like a blink of an eye. Everything just finishing, right?
Flew by.
Exactly. And then all these fans who had a chance to go to Incheon to check out some of the competitions. They had a great time. The athletes themselves, not only did they have a great time competing at the Asian Games, but also they had a great time in Incheon. And because Incheon's so close to Seoul, they had a great time sightseeing as well. And I had a chance to, you know, talk to some of these athletes, and they were saying, oh, they loved Incheon and some of the stuff that was available for them for sightseeing. But of course, going into the competitions themselves, there were several events that fans really went crazy for. And of course, one of those sports was baseball, and especially all the games that the Korean national team played. But it wasn't just popular amongst the Korean fans, but also the scouts from the major league teams. Now, many of them attended the games to look for new talents here in Korea. And then, of course, there was swimming, where a huge crowd gathered for many of the events where Park Tae-hwan and Soon Young competed in. But the real winner there was, of course, Japan's Kosuke Hagino. And then lastly, rhythmic gymnastics also had many fans flooding into the arena, but not just the Korean fans once again, but fans from different countries, all trying to watch Son Yeon-jae compete in the Asian Games. So quite an exciting Asian Games.
Right, for sure. And I understand some new world records were set during the Incheon Games this time around. Tell us about those.
That's right, and it was crazy because so many world records were broken this year during the Incheon Asian Games, whether it be archery or shooting events as well. But really, it was weightlifting that we saw the most number of world records. In fact, during the Incheon Asian Games, 12 new world records were set in weightlifting from 8 different athletes.
Wow.
And then 12 of the world records, 5 of them were set by 3 North Korean weightlifters. There was Kim Eun-guk, who set 3 different world records in the 62-kilogram men competition. There was Chul, who over in the men's 56-kilogram competition. And then, of course, there was Kim Eun-ju, who broke the world record in the women's 75-kilogram competition. So definitely an exciting Asian Games for all the weightlifting fans out there.
And especially for North Korea. They seem to be getting stronger these days.
Right.
Exactly. With all these world records, right? And it was very exciting for both the South Korean fans who were cheering them on at those competitions as well.
And speaking of Korean athletes, Korean male athletes, it's a mandatory, there's mandatory military service for all Korean males or Korean men out there, and it's no exception for Korean athletes. So if you one of the benefits of getting a gold medal, it does have some benefits in terms of military duty exemption.
Right, exactly. And it seems like there's quite a bit of a controversy when it comes to this. Obviously, you know, if you win the gold medal, you do get exempt from the military service, but there's actually this one sport where a lot of people are saying, well, they don't think this sport or the athletes in this sport should get military exemption as well, and it's really baseball. And of course, we saw the Korean national team win the gold medal as well. And there's a lot of people saying, well, they shouldn't be given the same privilege. And the main reason for that is all the other nations who competed at the Asian Games, including Japan, aren't really professional players. They were amateur players. And also, of course, Taiwan didn't send their A team neither, while the Korean national team did send their best professional players. So there are even fans out there, Korean fans, who didn't want Korea to win because they felt that they're only doing this to get military exemption, not because they want to represent the South Korean national team. But of course, there are those that believe that they put in that much more and that much more effort into the game as everyone else. So it's kind of unfair to rule out baseball for the military exemption.
I understand where that's coming from, but you know, the fact is that whether they're professionals or not, the fact is it is a worldwide event.
Exactly.
Right, and the World Baseball Classic, the players also got exempted for that, right?
Right.
So they're talking about changing the rules for baseball.
Here's the thing. I mean, we saw what happened during the Asian Games. I mean, aside from the very close game during the gold medal game, it was a very close one. But during the preliminary rounds, the group stage matches, it was just the competitiveness, it was unbalanced. South Korea was basically destroying all the other teams. So they're saying that they should change the rules so that it's a lot more fair for all the other countries. And what they're talking about right now is the football tournaments have this rule where you have to be 23 and under in order for you to be eligible to play for the national team. So they're saying the baseball team themselves should have this rule where it's under 23 and maybe use this whole wild card, pick 3 players who are wild cards, any age, and then in that way the competition will be that much more fair.
Okay, well, despite the controversy, lots of touching moments here and there, and lots of victories and also defeat, lots of tears and smiles and laughter.
And tears of joy for SJ. He finally gets some sleep.
Well, I did have a great time watching the Incheon Asian Games, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the fans out there who actually visited Incheon and had a great time over at the venues had, they really like the Incheon Asian Games as well.
All right, we'll look forward to the closing ceremony as well.
Definitely.
That takes place tomorrow. Thank you, SJ.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. And still ahead on Korea Today, we are going to be taking a closer look at the Busan International Film Festival, which just had its red carpet ceremony yesterday. And Denny Hong will be joining us in the studio to take a look at some of the hottest celebrities that made it on the list, what to expect and what not to miss. That's coming up on Korea Today. Subfertility affects roughly 1 out of 7 trying to conceive naturally. Subfertility refers to when a couple is unable to reach natural pregnancy after planning and trying for more than a year. As Korea faces a continuously low birth rate, subfertility has become not only an issue pertaining to individuals, but one of broader interest, and more men are being affected. Today, we'll be looking at a treatment offered by the urology specialist, Dr. Seo Tae.
The number of men struggling with subfertility in Korea has been on a steady rise, with the figures of those seeking medical assistance surpassing 40,000. And for those who are looking for treatment options, a urology specialist is providing better chances for male fertility. This male patient is visiting Dr. Seo Tae, hoping that he can father children in the future.
We put in a lot of effort for the past year to have a child, but have not managed to do so yet. So my wife was tested at the hospital. The results indicated she didn't have any issues. So I'm here to see if I may have some problems.
There is a growing number of men in their late 30s and early 40s who are seeking medical attention due to subfertility. According to the National Health Insurance Service earlier this year, the number of men seeking medical assistance for subfertility has increased by an average 12% each year from 2008. Test results indicate this patient has varicocele, found commonly in subfertile men.
Humans walk upright, so sometimes our veins end up enlarging in the lower limbs or scrotum. When this happens, it causes the temperature to go up in the testicles and oxygen levels to drop, causing problems for sperm production.
Varicocele occurs when the veins from the testicles and the scrotum become enlarged and twisted. When this happens, it can reduce sperm production and also affect sperm quality, possibly leading to infertility. More than 30% of male infertility is caused by varicocele, making it one of the leading causes. For patients with varicocele, there are various treatment options. One method is called a varicocelectomy, which refers to surgery in which arteries are protected while abnormal veins are tied off or removed. More recently, varicocele embolization, which is more elaborate, has become a more standard option. Using a microscope, all the veins that could be problematic are removed, while the arteries and lymphatic ducts are preserved. This helps reduce side effects and chances of recurrence.
By using a microscope, I can identify each vein while protecting the arteries, nerves and lymphatic ducts. Because it's only conducted on the veins, there are less side effects and the success rate is much higher, making it the best option for treatment available.
Dr. Seo has seen a near 100% success rate with his surgery for varicocele. After receiving corrective surgery, the chances of natural pregnancy increased by 5-fold.
Studying a couple where the man had varicocele, the chances of natural pregnancy over the course of a year were at 10%, but after surgery or treatment, that possibility jumped to 50% in the following year. Varicocele is the most common cause of male infertility, but in many cases it can be treated.
Dr. Seo Ju-tae offers treatment for those struggling with subfertility, giving couples a different outlook on planning for their future families.
The 19th Busan International Film Festival, or BIFF, which kicked off yesterday, is all the talk right now.
That's right, and Busan is the place to be. What are we doing in Seoul, right? I know. To tell us more about this year's festival, we're now joined by Misorang in the studio. Good morning,
Good morning, guys. Yes, so I'm going to do a little one-on-one on the festival, so let's get right into it and start with the 3 W's. So what, when, who.
Okay.
First, the what. Well, it's a film festival held in Busan, and it dates back to 1996, so the one this year is the 19th festival. When? The opening ceremony was yesterday, and it's on for 9 more days until the 11th, which is next Saturday. And lastly, who? Most of the movers and shakers of the Korean film industry will be there, so to drop a few names, director-wise, Bong Joon-ho of Snowpiercer, Kim Ki-deok of Pieta will be there, while in front of the camera, actor-wise, Park Yu-cheon, Choi Min-sik, and Kim Hye will all be there as well.
And there were some big celebrities from other countries attending the event as well.
Exactly.
Tell us about some of those names.
So Ken Watanabe, the Japanese actor, he co-emceed the opening ceremony yesterday along with Moon So-ri. Now, are you guys a fan of Ken Watanabe?
He's all right.
But I know there are some fans who call him Prince Watanabe for his good looks.
Wow.
But we do have a real royalty joining us as well. So Thai Princess Ubulatana Lachakanya, she will also be joining us. She's actually not only a princess, but she's actually an actress herself, and she'll be attending the Thai night of the festival. Now, being a film festival, we of course can't leave out the opening and closing films, right? So the opening film is called Paradise in Service. It's a Taiwanese film, and it's set in the 1960s, 70s, and it looks at the issue of prostitution in the military. Meanwhile, the closing film for next Saturday is a Hong Kong film. This one's called Gangster Payday. Now, as you can guess from the title, it is a gangster movie, but genre-wise, it's more of a fusion between gangster, comedy, and melodrama.
So it seems that there's no Korean films for the opening or closing. It's different than usual.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're used to having a Korean film open the festival and a foreign one closing it, or vice versa. But this year, both films, both the opening and closing ones, are foreign films. But you know, that's not to say that people are any less interested, because the closing film, tickets for that sold out in less than 6 minutes.
Wow.
And tickets for the opening one sold out in less than 2.5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's
definitely
a lot of people clicking away in front of their computers
to get the tickets.
Right.
Now, of course, if you get tired and, you know, get a bit restless from having to sit still to watch all the movies, you can go down and check out Code 9 along the Haeundae Beach. Now, this is a standing concert party, and it features a lot of indie and rock bands. The great thing about this especially is that it's free, unlike the opening and closing films. So anyone can just rock up and enjoy their free concert.
All right. Thank you, Misorang. Now, hurry up and get on down to Busan now.
I'm leaving tonight.
All right.
All right, thank you. And still to come on Korea Today, with Busan now kicking into film festival mode, we look at some of the best food scenes from Korean films that will make your appetite sputter to life. Chef Matthew Chung brings us both the food and the drama, so don't go away.
The most beautiful instrument of all, but the most difficult to play, according to Richard Strauss. But some have mastered that art, like this group. The Spanish a cappella quintet B Vocal has been performing in over 200 concerts annually and over 3,000 over the last 19 years. And they are in town once again, having finished their 5-city tour in Korea. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, can we introduce ourselves starting from here?
Yeah, Jonah Chim. I am Carlos. I am the...
Oh, Jonah Chim as in good morning, right?
Yeah, good morning.
Okay,
Yes,
right. I thought your name was Jonah Chim.
Yeah, no, Jonah Chim. Jonah Chim Carlos, yes.
All right. Carlos?
I am one of the specialists of beatboxing. It's like drums man. So it sounds like this.
All right, so you provide the beats there.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Carlos, thank you.
I love it. Yeah. My name is Fermin, and I make some kind of noises in the scores, and to the part of silences in the scores, because silence in music is very important.
Okay,
as Richard Strauss said too.
All right, so we're going to be able to see that later on. Okay, so this is all noises that you guys are making with just the human voice itself, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Alberto. I'm the upper voice of this band, and also I make play guitars.
All right.
It's okay.
All right, vocal air guitar. There you go. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Juan Luis, and normally I do the bass, the lowest voice, like dun dum dun dun dum dun dum. Yeah.
So you do the low stuff, right?
Yeah.
And last but not least.
Okay. Hello, I am Augusto. I don't know what kind of sound I have on the stage, but many sounds. For example, the trumpet. I have a medium voice, okay? Trumpet is, for example,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds just like a real trumpet.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so you guys, this is your 4th time here in Korea, and you just finished your 5th concert this year, and you come annually ever since you began 4 years ago. Tell us about the Seoul concerts and also performing in front of a Seoul audience or a Korean audience. What sets Korea's audience apart when you perform your music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Korean audiences are very, very good. We think of the Latin people of Asia, you know, because they are very warm, they have a lot of energy, they are very,
passionate.
Yeah, passionate.
So what kind of a response are you guys getting over here when you do perform? I mean, this is your 4th year, you keep coming back. You also have another performance next year, planned for next year, so things are very good and you're getting a warm welcome, right?
We feel it. We feel that reciprocity between the people from Korea, and we try to prepare some special songs in all our performances for Korean people. Some medley of Korean K-pop or these kind of things. Yeah.
So you put a little bit of medley in there and also perform for them, and that, of course, gets a very warm response. I mean, speaking of music that you play at your concerts, the range of music that you perform at the concerts is quite interesting. It ranges from pop, as you mentioned, Korean songs, the medleys. How do you actually come up with a certain playlist for a country, for example? You're touring in Korea. Do you create a specific playlist for each country?
Yes, we try to. We have a very good manager here in Korea, and they send us this kind of music and say, this is a hit, and you can make it. But the other list of the band is, it depends the feeling, the personal feeling. I love heavy metal, and I arrange a heavy metal song. Or this guy, he loves other kind of music, rock and roll, and we make this arrangement. It depends.
Okay, so it depends on the arrangements. Are there any Korean arrangements maybe that you've done? I mean, you said you had a medley. Is there something that you can maybe just put together right now as a sample, as a quick sample for the audience?
Yeah. Come on. We can make it. This is the only instrument we have.
To learn Korean language is very difficult for us because the pronunciation is very... Yeah, you know, but we try.
All right.
Hirata meka meka yorya yakara mera neka dokemo natora meka dokamaru yoke neka no demo inyo geta chomonyo to oro neka konyo wachi yaya dala go go.
Woo! All right, that's Abracadabra by the Brown Eyed Girls, right? Very popular song. You guys should have done that dance too. Yeah. So on stage you do that as well.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
we love dance.
People even think that we are the girls. Yeah.
I guess you'd have to be very far away from the stage to think that. All right, now being an a cappella singer, it requires special care of your voice, and you have been together for 19 years through thick and thin, through the good times and the bad times. Now tell us how you guys have been managing yourselves as well as your voice, and also 19 years of the group.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a big family.
It's
Yeah,
like a couple.
we are like a
Yes.
brother.
A marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not only singers, we are friends, like a family. Yes.
All right, so now you finished your last leg of the tour, and you'll be heading back to Spain for some time being. What do you have planned over there? Are you going to be coming out with some new songs, and you're going to be returning to Korea as well? Tell us a little bit for our audience about what your plans are for the future, like when you do come back to Korea and stuff.
Okay.
The next is new show. The name is Boca a Boca in Spanish. It's like mouth to mouth. It's an expression that explains about what do the audience just after the concert.
Yeah.
Explain
Spread the message, the vocal message.
Yeah, and we have a big premiere in our city in Spain, in Zaragoza, and just 2 months. Yeah. After we go to Austria,
Europe,
Vienna,
in
a great festival, Voicemania, one of the most important around the world, also of course in Europe, and just before
Next
after
in China.
Yes, we go
At the end
to
of November.
at the end of November, we go to China to another tour.
In 13 cities in China.
So 13 cities in China, all those tours, and you'll be coming back. For our audience who missed this year's set of concerts in your tour in Korea, so you're going to be back around what month? You have a date set at the Seoul Arts Center, right?
Yeah, we have a date on 2nd of June.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to perform in a Seoul Arts Center.
All right, sounds great. And we're going to be looking forward to your performance next year in June, and I'm sure our audience will be able to catch you then if they didn't catch you this time around. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, and I understand you do also have a special performance for the end of the program, right?
Okay. We have it.
Thanks once again. Be vocal.
Thank you.
Thank you. 감사합니다.
Now, if you're a fan of Korean film stars, really, Busan is now the place to be, especially last night when celebrities strutted their stuff on the red carpet.
Yeah, they look glamorous in their gowns, and Denny Hong joins us to talk more about the happening place, Busan, for the Busan International Film Festival. Good morning, Denny.
Good morning. That's right. The 19th Busan International Film Festival kicked off last night with the opening ceremony, and so it's going to be a 10-day run, and it wraps up next Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are definitely on the way down. I'll be leaving shortly after the program's over to head down to, walk on the red carpet myself.
Are you invited?
Well, you're going to be heading down there, but so are a lot of people down there. Some people may take the KTX or even the plane, but it's also a 3-day weekend, which means it's going to be a crazy start for the festival.
Well, there's definitely going to be a lot more people in attendance. As we heard earlier, their opening films are already sold out as well, too. Because of the 3-day holiday weekend with Gaecheonjeol tagged onto it, there's definitely a lot of people that are going to be there for the opening few days.
And I heard that the atmosphere this year will be a bit different from the average years.
Well, in this case, they're going to be doing more of a focus on the movies themselves, which as a film festival, that is what they should do. But in the past, what happens is that they gave a lot of free tickets out, complimentary tickets, and invited guests to people that were celebrities, but not necessarily in the film industry. And so they're limiting that field. They're not giving as many of those tickets out. And what they're doing is leaving more seats open for the public.
So does that mean that the opening night red carpet was more subdued and quiet, if that's possible, on the red carpet?
I would say it was probably actually more with all the public in attendance as well, too. So let's actually take a look at the opening night festivities. All eyes were on the Busan International Film Festival as it opened just last night. This is because of the opening ceremony taking place in the city, with the crowds in a lively mood before the opening ceremony began. The Busan International Film Festival is already in its 19th year. And following its reputation, it has produced footsteps in which movie buffs from around the world will follow. Regardless of Asian nationality, people who share the same passion are there.
So after being to the short movie film festival, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this is the big one, so it should be great.
From Korean films, difficult to access outside of the country, to pieces from around the globe, many films can be enjoyed in one spot. Film fans get to choose from 314 pieces while they're there. But the issue of greatest attention today is the red carpet premiere. From the early hours of the morning, a huge number of movie fans and media members are staked out, adding to the atmosphere there as the sun sets. And finally, the curtain goes up with celebrities hitting the red carpet. As famous stars strut down the red carpet, fans make their presence known. From Chung, who made his appearance with Is-hong for the movie Madam 2014, to Kwon-yul from Rowing Currents, Park Hae-il and Lee Hyun-woo from Reporter, popular actors entered the scene. And actor Kim Bo-sung, who also drew out some laughs with his act, Uri. Also at the center of attention were dresses from the female actresses. From actress Kim Hye to newer actors, they took over the red carpet with their reserved but seductive looks. Meanwhile, Kang Ye-won and Kim Hee-jung showed off some skin with their see-through look. Spectators also welcomed on actress Tang Wei and actresses from other countries at the venue.
제19회 부산국제영화제의 개막을 선언합니다.
This is how the curtain was raised for the 19th Busan International Film Festival. As film buffs gear up to enjoy sheer movie fun in Busan for the following 9 days, all eyes and ears are on the city.
You know, the Busan International Film Festival is really a star-studded event and lots of opportunities to rub shoulders with your favorite stars. Not necessarily literally rub shoulders with, but run into, right?
There's going to be, of course, a Q&A session for a lot of different celebrities that will be there. Some top names. I'm actually trying to get into the Chae Min-sik Q&A, actually, because he will be there. I just want to talk to him about, like, you know, Lucy and all the other films that he's done this past year, especially like Roaring Currents, but we'll see. But there's definitely going to be a lot more people that will be there. Jung-hwa will be there as well. Kim Hye and Park Hae-il will also be there doing Q&A sessions. So
Park Hae-il.
If you can get in there, definitely try.
Just get in there.
Judging from your size, I'm sure you could just rush, juggernaut your way down.
I'll try to do my press pass, like, you know, running into the event, yes.
Now, BIFF being an international event, I noticed a lot of foreign stars there as well.
When it comes to the foreign guests, there's definitely, it's grown over the past years. More international artists and, you know, the celebrities are there. When it comes to co-hosting the event as well, too, last year we had Arirang Kwak as one of the hosts, and then 2 years ago we had Tang Wei as one of the co-hosts, and this year we have Ken Watanabe, who is awesome.
Okay, not just all right?
Well, I loved him in Inception, you know, his role there.
Oh, he's
also,
great,
you know,
yeah.
so.
He was also on the latest Transformers. He was the voice of the Bugatti Samurai.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense. He was also in Last Samurai, so like there's a lot of movies that he did in Hollywood too. So.
Sure.
So he co-hosted alongside Woon Sori, and there are a lot of different international stars that are in town for that. Tell us about some of the other ones that are here.
Tang Wei is actually back. She's going to be here for a movie called The Golden Years, which is pretty much talking about a very prominent writer in China. Also from Hollywood, we have actress Tara Palmer, and then from Europe, from Italy, a director. This is Asia Argentino. She'll be here promoting her film as well, too. And then also from Hungary, we have Bellatar, and from China, Zhang Yimou will be here for Q&A sessions as well.
What about movies from outside of Asia? I know this is an international film festival, so not just films from Asia.
There are 314 films from 79 countries that will be played over the next 10 days. Also, there's a series of special films from, I guess, the 100th year independence for Turkey. Actually, so they'll be here celebrating some movies in that sense as well too. And also filmmakers, female filmmakers, there'll be a spotlight on them from Georgia, and also films from Nepal, Bangladesh, Lebanon. So there's a whole variety. Again, 79 different countries. Films will be shown, so a little bit for everyone, different languages, everything.
And I heard that a new award has been put in place during this year's festival.
Well, the Busan Film Festival over the past few years, it's actually been in some ways a highlight for certain Korean actors and actresses, and also overseas as well, to break through into the acting world. I think notably, like 2005, we have Ha Jung-woo with the Unforgiven movie, and so he took off, and so others as well too. So in this case, we're going to be having a new award for the new artist, a new actor and actress award, which will be also presented this year as well too.
You mentioned Ha Jung-woo on the last film festival. He came out as a director and went beyond the realm of just acting and went to the realm of being a filmmaker. There are others who are actually going into different realms, right? Are there any notable ones?
In this case, one of the big spotlights is on Koo Hae-sun. So for her, she's actually directed 3 movies already, but this is a movie, it's called The Daughter, and this is a movie that she not only directed, but also acted in and wrote. So it's the first one that she wrote herself. And this is a time for people to try to expand outside of their normal just behind the camera or even in front of the camera role, just to try various different hats on.
It's kind of hard to imagine Koo Hae-sun because she played Kim Jan-di in Boys Over Flowers, and she's so pretty, you just don't imagine her being that artistic in terms of writing a screenwriter as well as directing a film.
So we'll have to wait to see how well
I think people underestimate, various people and what they can do. I mean, this is film festival definitely opportunities for them to kind of shine in different avenues from what they're known for.
Now, tickets to some of these movies sell out really quickly, and our Mi-sorang was telling us that some of the tickets sold out in 5 or 2 minutes.
You need the Denny connection.
Right, so pull some strings there. Now, how do we get tickets, or how do you get access?
Don't go to scalpers, but basically there are online and offline ticket sales, right? And a lot of times when you have only online tickets, they just get sold out so quickly because people will buy just in exorbitant amounts. But they deliberately, for that case, they keep 20% of the tickets for the movies directly only sold at the venue, so that no matter if the internet is done, you might still get lucky by going and trying to get the tickets at the venues themselves. The prices are actually relatively low, so it's about $6 to $8 depending upon it. So 6,000 won for regular films, 3D films are 8,000 won, right? And so you can definitely check those out, and I recommend try to watch as many as you can. There's also a back-to-back-to-back, so a 3... what's the word for it? So
3 screenings.
A triple feature, right? Films, right? It's called Midnight Passion, and this begins at midnight, so it's 3 films back to back for 10,000 won. So if you are a night owl and you don't mind watching 3 movies in a row, check that out as well too. They're more geared towards the adult audience, so it's not really for children.
Or you could get in there at 12 o'clock and wake up at 6 o'clock after all the movies are through.
All right. Sounds like a perfect night out.
Don't sleep through the movies.
All right. Well, join Mi-sorang on our way to Busan.
I think I'll be leaving a little bit earlier.
Thank you, Denny.
No problem.
Thanks a lot, Denny. And coming up are some of the foods from the movies that just might get your appetite going. We'll be back with Matthew Chung after the top 5 in the world of Korean pop music.
Well, Asia's largest film festival is now underway in Busan, and you know, food and film are inseparable, really. I mean, there is an eating scene in every movie, right?
And
obviously.
It makes you hungry. Our food maestro, who also looks like he should be a movie star, joins us this morning.
Matthew Chung.
Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, and you are far too generous. But there is a really rich history of food being featured in movies, and probably just because it's just so much fun to watch. And you know, there are a lot of famous scenes from Korean movies especially where they feature food and just looks so good. So why don't we take a look at some of these dishes that appear in some of these movies. So the Korean movie industry, they put out a ton of movies throughout the year. Right now, if you're a true cinema aficionado, you'll know that this is the season for movies. Now, in Korean movies, there's this idea of the mukbang, where a star will eat something on screen and it'll look so delicious, they'll become a phenomenon of sorts. And that's what I love about the movies, is that it's a culinary experience through and through, whether it be the food on screen to bring your own snacks to the theater. And what's best is when you can watch a movie and then go out and go get the food that's featured in the movie. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Our first dish today is one you might recognize from Song Kang-ho's hit movie 변호인. And it's 돼지국밥. It's a dish that's famous in Busan. It's a hometown hero. And it's like 설렁탕 if you're familiar with that dish. But instead of made with beef, it's made with pork. So it has that natural juicy meatiness that pork has. So 돼지국밥, it's all about the broth. And so it's made with both pork and beef bones, and they're simmered for 2 hours, and they get this nice, deep richness to the stock. And with that is the pork shoulder, and it's cooked until it's nice and tender, almost falling apart, but it's still got that nice grain to it. And then a little bit of puchu. Now, this is part of the leek family. How did that just dig in? Now, 돼지국밥, it's a staple of Busan, which is down in the south, but it's gotten so popular that now you can find it practically anywhere in the country. Here in Korea, you don't have to go far to get great Chinese food. And we've developed a style of Chinese food all of our own. You know, it's not quite authentic Chinese, but it is authentically Chinese Korean. And there are two dishes, probably more than any other, that people just love. 탕수육 and jjajangmyeon. And there's this famous scene from the movie, 범죄와의 전쟁, and it's the main character who's played by Ha Jung-woo. He's having the 탕수육, and the camera's just on him, and he's just eating the meal, and it's become an incredibly landmark scene. And this is a dish that he had. And here, it's not your average takeaway joint. The way they do their 탕수육 here, they age it for 5 to 7 days to tenderize the beef, and then they marinate it for 12 hours the night before in secret spices. And that's what makes this so special. Just pour the sauce right over. And then there's jjajangmyeon. This is probably the undisputed king of Korean Chinese cuisine. This is the one dish that everyone loves. In fact, this might be even more beloved than certain Korean dishes. And there's no secret as to why people love this dish so much. It's in the sauce. And here at Mashi China, they put a lot of love into their sauce here. And what I mean by a lot of love is a lot of meat. There's a lot of meat that goes into here, onions. A lot of places are really skimpy with it, but here you can tell it's thick. It's just rich with all the different ingredients. So it's not just some thin, skimpy neighborhood joint. Right here, they do it right. Ooh, there we go. All right, so for this next dish, it's 팥죽. And fans of the star Lee Byung-hun, they'll recognize this dish because there's a scene in one of his movies, 광해, where he's eating the patjuk and he just makes it look so good. And so we're at Yongnya Patjuk, and they specialize in patjuk. It's a red bean porridge, and it's really simple. It's basically just 2 ingredients. It's salt and it's red beans, and it's cooked down to this porridge. And a dish this simple, it has to be perfect. There's no place to hide. And what's great about this dish is that it's so warm and it's comforting. It's a great dish to have this time of the year, and especially as it starts to get colder. I started to see the beauty in its simplicity. Yeah, it's creamy, it's rich.
And we are teasing our audience, our viewers, with the view of that 탕수육. And that is the pork cutlet or fried pork cutlet with that sauce, right?
That's right, but in this case, they actually use beef tenderloin. And you can tell, you can taste the difference. So, you know, beef, it's, well, beefier, but it's also got that, you know, nice texture to it as well. So, in a lot of neighborhood joints, they might not use the best cut of meats, but here it's nice and tender.
You're absolutely right, though. This is one of the most common foods that we can have. Let me try this first.
So 탕수육 is so popular in Korea. Just a slight difference can make you tell if the chef is good or not. So are there any tips to make some good 탕수육?
I mean, it's all in the details, right? So it's about packing in as much flavor as you can every step along the way. So they'll, you know, if you marinate the beef, you know, not only it helps tenderize it, but it adds that extra little bit of flavor. And then, of course, the other element is the sauce. You know, you really have to make sure that all those flavors are balanced. I mean, you know, it's sweet and sour, and you have to make sure it's not, you know, just sweet or just sour.
It has to balance.
And we have to talk about jjajangmyeon. I'm sorry, did I interrupt? I'm really excited about jjajangmyeon. It really is a favorite dish for a lot of people. Jjajangmyeon, anyone can enjoy jjajangmyeon. But it's interesting because I visited China. It's not a dish found in China, apparently. It's,
not quite,
what is the story?
So it's based off of a Chinese dish, and it uses the black bean sauce, but it's not really quite as it's made here in Korea. But now it's become such its own thing that this is a dish that's gone back to mainland China. It's, you know, Korean-style Chinese black bean noodles.
Wow. We show them how we do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique Korean spin on the dish. And, you know, this is a dish that's also featured in a lot of movies. And it's because of two things, I think. It's because when you eat it, it just looks so satisfying. You know, there's something about the color, the sound, the texture. But I think there's also a lot of cultural weight that jjajangmyeon carries here in Korea, and that it's something that you're right, everyone enjoys it, so everyone can really relate to that scene.
Yeah, especially when you have like the movers over and trying to help you move or something, you buy them some jjajangmyeon, and that works also. I mean, my dad used to tell me about times when jjajangmyeon was only 600 won per dish. Right?
Now it's relatively cheap.
It's still relatively cheap, right?
Right.
And this 돼지국밥 is a popular dish in Busan as well, where the film festival is being held. Right?
Try some of that.
That's correct. I mean, it's all over Busan, but there's even this one street that's famous for it. It's just lined with restaurants that specialize only in 돼지국밥. And you know, like I said before, it's based off of a bone broth, so it has that nice, warm, soul-satisfying thing going on.
But some people don't like 돼지국밥 just because of the distinct smell that some restaurants cannot get rid of.
Yeah, it could be certain places. You know, it can come off a little porky, a little heavy on the pig. And so, actually, when you find 돼지국밥 outside of Busan, oftentimes that pork flavor is a little bit more toned down, especially the 돼지국밥 that you tend to find here in Seoul.
Good.
Is it?
Can you pass the buchu, Matthew?
For sure.
No, right. I want to talk about this patjuk because I just had a bit of it, and usually you think of patjuk as a dessert, but this one's a little bland, almost like a meal.
Oh yeah, it's rather filling and very nutritious, isn't it?
Yeah, so traditionally, red bean soup, it is a little, red bean porridge rather, it is a little bit on the sweet side, but that's due to natural sweetness, because it's just usually just water, beans, and salt. Like traditionally, that's what it is. But nowadays, you have 단팥죽, which is seasoned with sugar. So you can have it either way. You can have it simply seasoned with a little bit of salt, which is a little bit more traditional, or with a little bit of sugar, which is a little bit more modern, a little bit more contemporary.
And I love the rice cakes they have in it.
The gyeongdan, right?
That's like the ultimate dessert there.
All right,
Sorry, I'm just so busy eating that.
Right, you
It's
are.
so good.
How about we continue
I'm
on
so
with the show
hungry,
now
right?
here. Thank you, Matthew, for all these food and the story as well. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Matthew. And we did have that interview with B Vocal, who joined us earlier. So we have all the food right here, and we're going to be entertaining ourselves with the food and also a little bit of music from the guys before we say goodbye. But for now, we'll close the show today for our Friday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today.
We'll be back on Monday at 7 a.m.
Thank you for watching.
And to be vocal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most exciting, terrific, and amazing music of the moment. Because you can be musical a cappella with B Vocal.
Sing once again with me how strange you had my power over you grows stronger just and though you turn from me to glance behind the phantom of the opera is there inside your mind. The phantom of the
On the day we arrive on the planet and blink in a step on the sun, there's more to do that can ever be seen, more to do that can ever be done. There's a circle of life and it moves us all to the spirit and hope, to faith and love, till we find a place on the path unwinding, in the circle of life.
Since I don't know when, I don't know how, and it's come to an end. Look at me now, I will ever learn. I don't know how. strong. There's a fire within my soul. Just one look and it can heat up a ring. One more look and it forget everything. Oh, oh, Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how come I to miss you? Mamma Mia, does it show again? My, just so much to miss you. Yes, I've been broken hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma Mia, now I really know. My, I could never let you go.
We'll get some overhead if the other four but it was, oh yeah. Feeling just a corner, chrome planet rules, oh yeah. With the first be on the floor, we give us up the door. Do now ain't any shit, we're beginning. Lots of 50 wrist slide, don't go. Go, wrist slide, and the bottom curl, wild prayer.
Breeze lining, oh, breeze lining.
Go, wrist slide, and because I'm trying to kill up trial.
Breeze lining, go, breeze lining.
You are supreme, take a grip. Wrist slide, and go. We get some overhead, lift her on the floor, but it was, oh yeah. Falling just a corner, come brother rose, oh yeah. With the first beat on the floor, beginning at the door. You know in the shit, but the killer has a thing. Real slide, go. Real slide, and the bar qualify on mine.
Breeze lining, go, breeze lining.
Go, real slide, and the concept for the hill of trial.
Breeze lining, go, breeze lining.
You are supreme, take a cream. You grease lining.